Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. We've got a great show for you today, but let's see how we did yesterday before we get things started. Zach, Tom Casale, big hits there. We lose 1 out of 3 on the SportsLine Picks. Overall, we go 4-2. Hey, listen, we're going to take 4-2 every single time. Shout out to the tennis picks from Jose Honorado. And of course, Larry hit his pick as well. So very, very happy to see that. Very happy to see all you in the chat. Sox Nation is in here. Jason Pongwist, Eric David, Steve Folkert, CID, Richard Pierre, CLE fan. Thanks for being in here. Hit the like button. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Well, it must be a big NBA day because we've got Mikey B, we've got Mike McClure, we've got PropStarz. Of course, we do have a lot of NBA picks. We've got some golf picks with me and Mike, and we've got some SportsLine picks related to the NHL and college basketball. Mikey B, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. Yeah, interesting slate tonight. Not a huge slate of games, but some interesting games that we got here coming up.
All right. PropStarz, I was on HQ with you and Mike McClure yesterday. You had come off a 5-1 day on HQ, which would have been 2 nights ago. How you feeling about today's slate?
I'm fired up. As Mikey B mentioned, it's a little slate here, but certainly some interesting matchups. I'm looking forward to watching Denver and Giannis tangle. That should be a great game. So, yeah, I think it's a good slate of action. I'm fired up. So, Goose is in the house as well. So, yeah, get ready to get down to business.
We have GAWD in the house. He says, morning, good people. He's very happy that we don't have a soccer capper. And I know this is just kind of a joke, right? But, he's not the biggest soccer guy, but so many other people are, is the thing, God. So here we go. Reed Phillips says, baseball cap looking good, Mike McClure. I want to remind everybody, Mike, that I helped, I was the point guard. I didn't really give any analysis, but in case you missed it yesterday at 3:00, we went live. It was me, Mike McClure, A-Mags, and Matt Sniper Snyder. And that's in your feed right now. It's in your podcast feed. It's on the SportsLine YouTube channel. There was so much information dished down in about a 45-minute time frame. You must go back and listen to that. We talked a lot of win totals, division win bets, you name it, but really it was the information behind the bets that I thought was particularly important. Mike, golf has started out. Some of your guys started out hot, like Luke Clanton. I've got Daniel Berger starting off hot. My 3-ball is not starting off hot, so we'll see where that goes. How you feeling this morning, Mike McClure?
I am feeling good, Sia. Look, I love when we're getting closer to baseball season. The hat will return for a month or two, typically how we do. But I just love the Florida swing because it is nice to wake. I wake up early, right? I get up 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock a lot of days. And it's nice to actually have golf on. It's not fun for me when we have West Coast golf because I'm awake for several hours waiting for it. I love the idea of waking up. We have the coffee. We've got guys that are already 4 under. We've got guys that are already +2. That is my kind of action on a Thursday morning.
I mean, it's crazy, Mike. I woke up this morning and Jake Knapp is already 5 under through 5. Like, what is happening? This is supposed to be a tough course. We'll see if things even out. Again, I've got Daniel Berger as a first-round leader. He's at least in the conversation. But Sam Ryder, Jake Knapp, both 7 under. I mean, I don't think I'm going to hit a first-round leader. But, I mean, just the fact that some of these guys are just tearing up this course. Granted, there's no wind, and I understand all of those things. But of all guys, I don't know that I expected Jake Knapp to be 5 under through 5. It's just pretty crazy. Jesper Svensson, who I bet against in the 3-ball, was 4 under through 4. Again, we'll see if all of this evens out. But let's transition to some actual picks. I do want to point out your Kansas City hat, Mike. Somebody pointed out that they like the hat. We talked about Kansas City on that first MLB show, and we talked a lot of Cubs on that show with some bets relating to the Cubs, some Texas Rangers, some of these like slightly under the radar teams. You're going to want to listen in for that. Trust me on that one. All right, let's talk some NBA. We're going to start with you, Mikey B.
All right, so I don't do a lot of sides in the morning because there's a lot of guys that get ruled in or out, but I like this one too much to wait. We're going to do Warriors -5 against the Magic. These two teams, they're heading in opposite directions. The Warriors are 6-1 since the Jimmy Butler trade, and all 6 of those wins have come by at least 7 points. 3 of those wins were on the road, which is where they'll be here against the Magic. The Magic are 5-8 over their last 13 games. They are really struggling without Jalen Suggs. The Warriors have a clean injury report for this game. Suggs is going to be out again for the Magic, so I'll take the Warriors at -5. And then we're going to do a player prop from the Pelicans-Suns game. CJ McCollum over 7.5 rebounds and assists. He's averaging just under 4 rebounds and just under 4 assists per game for the season. Over the last 11 games, he has combined for at least 8 rebounds and assists 8 times. When he faced the Suns earlier this season, he had 3 rebounds and 6 assists. What you really like about the Suns, they've allowed the 7th most rebounds per game in the league. They have the 4th worst defensive rating. I think there's going to be ample opportunities for McCollum to go over 7.5 rebounds and assists.
All right. This reminds me, by the way, hello, Goose. Everybody say, put it in the chat, a big hello, a warm welcome to Goose. I want to go around the horn here before we get to your pick, PropStarz, because Mikey B is obviously on the Warriors -5. Now, somebody was asking in the chat, where's Studio Sia? As everybody knows, I was in studio at Florida headquarters last week, and I was having a conversation on the network show with Katie Mox and Mackenzie Brooks about the Golden State Warriors and how Jimmy Butler can really change teams. And I also said I thought Steve Kerr was sort of the Eric Spoelstra of the Western Conference. With all that said, I think Golden State is a threat. So we're going to go around the horn. And Mikey B, I'm actually going to start with you. If you had to pick one team that was not the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the West, who would it be, Mikey B?
I'll take the Nuggets because of Jokic. If the Nuggets are healthy and Jamal Murray looks a lot better than he did earlier in the season, if they're healthy and all their guys are there, Russell Westbrook, he's struggled on a lot of other teams, but he hasn't on this team. That's a crazy thing. You play with Jokic and you don't really struggle. Jokic makes everybody so much better. So I'll take the Nuggets for this discussion.
Yeah, Proppy, I'm going to go to you. We've got all the teams, or at least most of the relevant teams on the screen here, thanks to courtesy of Ben and courtesy of BetMGM. If you had to pick, and I want the chat to respond to this too, a non-OKC team to win the West, PropStarz, who would it be?
Well, you guys know I like a good long shot, and this necessarily isn't my second pick besides OKC, but I think the Dallas Mavericks have some value, especially at 30-1 or whatever the present odds are to win the West. When they get Anthony Davis back in that lineup, they're going to be an elite team defensively. They have one of the best closers in the league in Kyrie Irving, who's quietly playing at an all-NBA level. When their front court depth is healthy, and this is somewhat of an if because we don't know if all these guys will be back, although it looks like they're going to be with plenty of time to get ready for the playoffs. But that front court, basically with AD, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively Jr., PJ Washington, it's going to be a problem for any team in the NBA. So I think this Mavericks team, if they can get healthy, are a legit title contender this year. They have depth. They've got very good perimeter defense as well. They have an 8 or 9 or even a 10-man rotation that I think will be very effective in the playoffs. One of the best clutch fourth quarter scorers. AD playing at his natural position. Daniel Gafford is quietly an excellent player. So I look at this Mavericks team, and if they're healthy, they're going to be a handful. No one's going to want to play them.
Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks, there's a lot of people in the chat that like the Dallas Mavericks as well. That seems to be value at 30-1, Mike McClure. With that said, I look at the Warriors at plus 1,300. I kind of like that. I will say other books have this at plus 1,000. So I think you're probably getting the best number at BetMGM. The Warriors, the Mavericks, I think there's value there. I don't know that I want to touch the Lakers. Mike, you agree on the Mavericks, or is there another direction you'd go, a non-OKC Western Conference team?
I'm going to give you a complicated answer. The value is clearly on the Mavericks, as Proppy has pointed out here, at 30-1. Where I would price them is right around 12-1 right now, kind of where the Grizzlies are. I would have the Grizzlies actually back around plus 1,700, plus 1,800. And then the real answer to the question, the team that is most likely after Oklahoma City, to me, it's the Lakers. The Lakers should be just in front of the Denver Nuggets, assuming that we get Luka Doncic doing push-ups in warm-ups before games. If that keeps happening, yes, we're going to keep sliding up the board a little bit there. But after the Thunder, to me, the Lakers are the most likely. The best value from a betting standpoint comes in the form of the Dallas Mavericks. And I think the worst value is probably the Grizzlies right now.
PropStarz, go ahead.
Just real quick, wanted to touch on one big advantage in addition to having Luka and LeBron, who are obviously two brilliant basketball players. The former podcaster, JJ Redick, turns out is an absolutely elite head coach.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch something spectacular, watch the Lakers when they last played Denver and what they did to Nikola Jokic. It was incredibly impressive, and he deserves a lot of credit, JJ Redick, This team is playing much better defensively than you would think these pieces would be together. And the Lakers, which this is something they've lacked in recent seasons with LeBron, they have a big coaching edge, in my opinion, as well. So I like Mike's answer there. I think the Lakers are definitely a viable contender.
Yeah, we're certainly all over the board here, but I do think it merits discussion. If OKC can slip, looks like there's some value on the board there. All right, well, PropStarz, let's talk about picks for today, a Thursday. You've got a prop.
I do indeed, and this is an aforementioned player who was involved in the Luka deal, and it's Max Christie to go under 13.5 points. I put this out on the site at 14.5. I think it's 13.5 across the board here. I'd still play it. Maybe I'd scale down to half a unit here, but it's a big number for Max Christie, who is a nice player, but he's playing above his head. He's playing above expectations. He's shooting the ball really well. He's motivated, obviously, having changed uniforms, and he's definitely playing good basketball, but I don't think the current level of production is sustainable. Also, against Charlotte, while they're not particularly a good defense, they play at a slow pace, and they're also terrible. So what that does is it gives you the opportunity to get blown out. And in the event that Dallas blows out Charlotte, which is a realistic possibility considering they're double-digit favorites, obviously in that scenario, Max Christie wouldn't play very much in the fourth quarter. But either way, I just think this is a big number for him. And I think we're going to see his scoring average tick down over the remainder of the season. I think this is a good natural spot to fade him under 13.5 points.
All right, Max Christie under 13.5 points. But just to be clear, Proppy, you have this on sportsline.com at 14.5, correct?
Correct, yeah, where unfortunately I don't think it's available anymore, but this is why it pays to be a subscriber with your notifications on. You'd have some excellent closing line value already.
And the truth is, this is not me throwing it in the 300 of you, or I mean, hopefully this audience grows, usually sometimes the 350, 400 while we're going live. But it's not to throw it in your face, because the truth is, PropStarz, most of the people in this chat are SportsLine members. So it's one of those things where most people got this at the 14.5. And I know sometimes we give out the number we put out on SportsLine. In this case, you're giving out the 13.5. We're scaling it down just a little bit. I was going to do SportsLine picks, but I do think I'll wait on that, because I do think this is a good time for the few of you that are not SportsLine members to know what is going on with our BetMGM and SportsLine promotion. If you haven't signed up yet for BetMGM, sign up now and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Plus, this is the key part, plus a 1-year free subscription to SportsLine with bonus code SportsLine1500. Get exclusive members-only picks for all major sports from proven models and 40-plus Vegas experts, plus predictive tools for pick'em, brackets, player stats, and more. Get this offer in 4 easy steps. Download the BetMGM Sports app and register an account using bonus code SportsLine1500. Make your first deposit of at least $10. Place your first wager to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses, and claim your free 1-year subscription to SportsLine in your BetMGM inbox. Ladies and gentlemen, that is quite the promotion. So props to BetMGM, props to SportsLine for putting that together. Props to Scott Davis, who says Ducks money line plus 110. We had a really funny comment from, who was it? Somebody said it's not push-ups. It was Brad Morris. He said it's not push-ups for Luka, it's push-pops for Luka, which is actually pretty funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to SportsLine picks. We got to get some golf picks. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
From sweet to elite to the Final Four.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. And speaking of that BetMGM SportsLine 1500 promotion, let's look at some SportsLine picks. We've got a college basketball pick and an NHL pick. And don't forget about our Discord, by the way, because a lot of picks get thrown in there as well, especially some of those tennis picks from Jose Honorado. We've got college basketball, Portland minus 2.5. That's from the Maestro. He had his pick yesterday as well. Portland minus 2.5 at minus 120. And then NHL, this is from Jeff Hockman. We're going even money, Oilers money line. College basketball pick, an NHL pick. Not a huge college basketball day today. A little bit bigger of one tomorrow. But I'll tell you what, it's a huge golf day today. And my 3-ball, which was plus 145, admittedly, it's losing for now, but it's still relatively early. So hopefully Ryan Gerard can fight back because, frankly, I have him in my DFS lineups as well. With that said, here's a guy I don't have in my DFS lineups. Here's a guy I don't have as an outright. But I have to concede that Keith Mitchell is starting to play better golf, especially over the last few tournaments. He also has really good history here. Now, I will concede in this round one matchup that I've got, Keith Mitchell minus 120 over Ben On. Ben On's got good history here as well. The problem with Ben On is his ball striking and his putting have not been good at all, especially his approach play has not been good, and the putting has really dropped off recently. With that said, Keith Mitchell, his putting has been below average, but his ball striking has really started to come around. Both of these guys are good course fits, but Keith Mitchell checks all the boxes to me. He's got a better course fit than Ben On. He models better to me. The recent form is better, and the recent history is better. I'm checking all the boxes for Keith Mitchell. I would probably put this at minus 130, minus 135, even though I got to admit, I don't like backing Keith Mitchell. Both good course fits, but I love the form with Keith Mitchell. So give me Keith Mitchell minus 120 over Ben On. You can find this at most books, this head-to-head matchup. All right, that's my golf pick, Mike. As I kick it to you, I'm going to look at the leaderboard to see if anything's changed in the last 16 minutes and 23 seconds. But you've got to play on a guy that you talked about on the early wedge quite a bit on Monday. Talk to me about Min-Woo Lee.
Yeah, I like Min-Woo Lee this week. No secret there if you've been following the early wedge, Sportsline in general. I wanted to play him on a round score under 68.5. That is unfortunately moved. And that does happen when you get these East Coast tournaments. As you get way more data, books start to move the lines more. I would not play it at 67.5. That would require a -4 or better. Certainly think he's got it in him, but I loved it at getting a 3 under. So I'm pivoting here. Going to play him at even money against Sung J M in a head-to-head matchup. I think this price point's a little off. When I look at the number on Sung J M across the industry, it's bounced between minus 125 and minus 130. That is essentially saying Sung J is 56% to win this matchup. And I just think that this is truly closer to a pick'em and in anyone's model. In my model, it's almost 53% the other way for Min-Woo. So I like this spot for him. When I look at people that are having success on the course right now, a lot of them have a little bit more distance, just like Min-Woo does. And Sung J, I've got some concerns with his recent form, not just, profiling and the approach play, which has been, essentially dead last in this field. He's coming off a miscut at the Genesis, and it wasn't really a close miscut in the sense that he shot 74-75. It wasn't one of those situations where it was a 69 and then the one bad 75 round. I was not encouraged at all. I had more bogeys than birdies at that event. At the Waste Management, T57, T33 at Pebble. Ever since the Farmers, he really hasn't quite been right. So I think that this is more name than game on Sung J in terms of the pricing right now. So I play Min-Woo here at even money. Again, if you still have or can find a 68.5, if it ticks back up in the next hour and a half before they tee off, I do prefer the individual round score on Min-Woo if you can find it. Again, 68.5 would require a -3 round. Definitely prefer that to betting him head-to-head against anyone. But if it's at 67.5, I will play him at even money against Sung J.
Yeah, so the question from Joe Neuenfeld, is this round one or tourney? I don't know if that's for me or Mike, but they're both round one plays.
Yep.
So my play, Keith Mitchell over Ben On, you can find it under 18-hole matchups or round one matchups, and the Min-Woo Lee is a round one score. Mike, I got to say, I have to admit, I don't think I put this on the early wedge, and I kind of forgot that I put the following bet out on HQ when I was on with you last night on Primetime Pregame. But you reminded me when on this Sung J M fade, there's a tournament matchup that you can find at most books. Shane Lowry -120 over Sung J M. Again, 72-hole matchup. I gave that out on HQ yesterday. I kind of forgot about it, admittedly. It hasn't gone off yet because these guys don't tee off till 12:30. Do you like that one as well?
I do. Lowry is an interesting cat because he doesn't quite profile as well, but he's got some history here, obviously, and is just a solid all-around golfer. So I like it. I would say it's more just betting against Sung J for me than truly on Lowry.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm not betting on Lowry this tournament, but I am looking to fade Sung J. So I think I think the Lowry over Sungjae tournament bet is a very strong lean, one that I almost want to just put up as an official play. But I'll lay off. We've got from the early wedge, we have so many bets out there. I may as well just lay off. Definitely going with Ben On, says Stonefish. I guess Ben On against Keith Mitchell. Okay, good luck with that. Best wishes. Hopefully, I don't have an X next to my pick there. Mikey B, was there anything? By the way, update: Daniel Berger's -7. Jake Knapp's -8. Daniel Berger's -7 through 12. Jake Knapp's -8 through 11. So Berger's at least in that first round leader conversation in a pretty significant way. Let's see. There's a lot to go here.
Sia, did you watch the first hole for Daniel Berger?
I did not.
You may not want to, because unbelievable tee shot in the palm tree, third shot from the tee box, approach from 256 yard, goes over the green, but he chips in for par.
Wow.
He was staring at potentially a double on the first hole, saved it for a par on the provisional ball, which would have been an eagle, and has not looked back since. Just absolutely incredible from Daniel Berger this morning.
That is, well, hopefully he can keep the momentum up, because he's in the conversation for sure. Mikey B, anything NBA wise in the chat that you need to respond to?
Yeah, somebody did ask if they would take the over on McCollum, 8.5 rebounds and assists. I'm assuming that's going to be at plus money. If so, yes, I do like that. Like I said, he had 9 total the last time he played the Suns. And also Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown are both out tonight for the Pelicans. It's the first game of back-to-back. So a little bit shorter rotations. Olynyk is actually a really good passer for a big man. So with him being out, that should mean the ball is in McCollum's hands some more.
Okay, and then there was somebody that made a comment about the Suns being 8.5-point favorites. So I had to look and make sure who they're playing. I mean, it is the Pelicans. Would this, PropStarz, would this be a game, and I know you don't bet a ton of sides, would this be a game where the Suns actually could cover because they're playing the Pels at home?
I don't think so. I have no confidence. I mean, I do think it'll be a high-scoring affair, but yeah, not seeing a lot of effort on the defensive side. And the Pelicans, while they're not a good team, obviously, they can fill it up and score.
All right. Giannis over 29.5 points. Thoughts? PropStarz, you're giving the thumbs up on that one?
Mikey B and I both like Giannis quite a bit, but yes, I love Giannis in this matchup against Denver. I think the game will be paced up. I think this is a potential ceiling game for Giannis. I wouldn't surprise me if he scored 40.
Farzad says Pelicans money line. Man, the Phoenix Suns hate. I kind of like it. I've been riding that train for quite some time. Eric David says love Barner hammering DeRozan's rebounds and assist props lately. Books have not caught up. Love to see that. All right. I think we've covered everything. Let's take a look at the recap screen as we cheer on all of our bets, some of which that are going on right now. Keith Mitchell, round 1 head-to-head. This one, I believe, starts in 2 hours. Keith Mitchell, -120 over Ben On. Then we've got Max Christie, under 13.5 points from PropStarz. That's even money. Don't forget, though, he has that on SportsLine at 14.5. Turn your notifications on for these guys, folks. Warriors -5 at -115. That's from Mikey B. And CJ McCollum over 7.5 rebounds and assists at -120. And then we've got another golf matchup today. Minwoo Lee +100 over Sung J M. Mike is big on Minwoo Lee this week, but we're all big on fading Sung J M. And then our SportsLine picks, Portland -2.5 at -120. That's from Larry Hartstein. And NHL, Oilers money line +100, even money. That's from Jeff Hoffman. We have an RIP Gene Hackman. Yeah, he appears to have passed away early this morning or last night. An absolutely incredible actor. There's just such a long list of movies that Gene Hackman starred in and played just such a significant role in. So we're getting a lot of head nods on this show. If you're listening to the podcast, hate to see that, but go back and pay him some homage by watching one of his movies, whether it's Hoosiers or anything else. He was in so many great movies. All right. Living legend he was, says Mark M. All right.
Absolutely. French Connection.
You know, I haven't seen that movie. People talk about it, and I haven't seen that movie. Maybe I'll pay homage by going back and watching that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a great show, and we're going to have a great show tomorrow as well for BPE Friday. You're not going to want to miss it, and don't forget that MLB show is in your feed. Trust me, you are going to want to listen to or watch that one. And don't forget the early wedge, 5 days a week. We'll have our next show Friday, and then we've got the live show Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's a live show with live betting. It's me. It's Mike McClure. I believe Patrick McDonald is joining us for that one and someone else as well. The podcasts are on the Early Edge feed, so you're in the right place in Spotify and the podcast and whatnot, and SportsLine. It's going to be on the SportsLine YouTube channel as well. So again, you're in the right place. Just make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and to this YouTube page. The firm, says Alex. Love that as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great show. On behalf of PropStarz, on behalf of Mike McClure, on behalf of Mikey B and Ben on the 1s and 2s and 9s and 10s, I'm the counselor of cash. This is the Early Edge. Have a great Thursday, everybody. We rest our case.